Last award for part 1 is the Tree-Mendous, or Tremendous, if you know English, performance. This is the best performance by a marquee player in the league, the most iconic performance on Christmas. Who's going first?
I can do it.
Iconic? No. I gotta correct you. Okay, you said iconic. Well, it's just impressive, right? Like
it's the best marquee performance. I changed marquee.
All right.
Best marquee here. Changed the wording a little bit. It sounded nice.
Yeah, you just throwing in random words and definitions. It's
what I'm here for.
That's all right. I'm like, wait, let me change my pick.
I was about to say, I don't know if you've watched over fucking a billion episodes of the show, but I mess up shit like that all the time. That's kind of what I'm here for.
Fair enough.
But Lindsay, go first.
Okay, so I have the Tiny Head Chewing as my pick from 1985 when he was rookie. And they were going against the 85 Celtics on Christmas Day. And it was a comeback win. And this man had like 32, 11, and 3, and 2, and 1, and all that jazz. But yeah, he beat the 85 Celtics on Christmas Day as a rookie. So I'm going to go with that.
They also came back from like 20 points, right?
Yeah, it was a comeback, yeah.
Lindsay, the funniest thing is when you first said the guy's name and you said Tiny Head, whatever, I was like, who is he in the shoes? And then before I could even stop, like think that, I was like, oh, Patrick Ewing. That's who you think has the tiniest head in the world.
Poor Patrick.
It's in relation to his shoulders. Like, it just doesn't work.
Yes, like
30, 32, and what is it? 11 on Christmas?
I got a big head.
32 and 11, yeah.
This is the 86 Celtics, right? This is the best team.
Yeah.
Oh, what day?
One of the best teams of all time.
What day is it? It's in 85.
Yeah, 85, so the 86 championship.
Yeah,
Yeah,
so that's the greatest team.
Celtics.
Yeah, arguably one of the greatest teams of all time. I like that.
Number 1 ranked defense that season. Yeah.
I was thinking about picking. Honestly, I think I had given this great thought of picking this for the best game because double overtime. You got so many stars. You got Kevin McHale putting up 29 and 14. You got Larry Bird, 23 and 10. Shot horribly inefficient, but they were there. Fucking, they played 50 minutes and 45 minutes for Parrish. And it's a huge comeback for the Knicks. And it's kind of like, I'm sure to an extent, Patrick Ewing had been playing really well in Georgetown, but this was one of his biggest early NBA games.
Yep.
And I really like this pick a lot.
I'm not shocked you didn't pick this as like because the Knicks. So
that I obviously factored into mine.
You were like, screw that. I'm not no Nick level.
I can't.
Well, I know who Russell's voting for. All right. Great.
Oh, trust me, you probably not. All right, I got this. I'm showing a little bit more love to the 60s again, and I'm going back to the goat of the 60s. Yeah, no, my boy Will Chamberlain. All right, so look, everybody talks about the 60 piece that Bernard King put up, right? And they're like, oh, greatest game or whatever. My guy created that. He created that whole thing. Bernard King had to pass somebody, right? And that was my boy. 59 and with 59 and 36 rebounds on 52.3% shooting, right? But along with that, they went to double overtime. So it was like, so imagine this on freaking Christmas. You watching all of this, and then my guy just keeps on putting in buckets. Gets you 59, 36. They still lose by 1 point. So, yeah, I like that. I like that as my greatest performance ever.
Of course, they didn't bother to put anybody else's extra stats, but they happen to have minutes for Will. Because they know people are mainly looking back at this fucking team to look at one guy and one guy.
Only reason.
Paul Azarin is you're pretty sure he's in the Hall of Fame. And there's guys that, like, you know, are in there that are playing out here. But Richie Guerin had 40 and 10. Jesus Christ. 16 and 24 for Johnny Green. These are all names that I barely know, that I know very offhand.
Richie Guerin's a Hall of Famer. He's a baller.
That's what I thought. Yeah.
Yeah, there was one game where Wilt had like 67. It was actually, fun fact, Wilt's 100-point game was actually his fourth game of 4 straight 60-point games.
Yeah.
The first game, he had 67. Richie Guerin had a 50-point triple-double in that same game against him. So in that game where Wilt had 67, he's arguably not even the best player on the court that night. Yeah, Guerin could play too.
That is crazy. But this is another pick that's like, I'm glad. I'm just happy to see this from you personally.
Thank you. But like, it's crazy. Him saying that fun fact was just proof that they were smoking high school kids. But keep on. Let's go.
Well, for the sake of this segment, Wilt Chamberlain was dominating plumbers. Okay, they were such a small guy.
Let's go. Yeah, join the dark side. Danny, join the dark side. Come over here.
This was your master plan.
We're in the shade.
This was your plan. You pitted me against Wilt so that I would go back on all the love that I have for this guy. But I want to win. So here we go. Yeah, I mean.
You know what, John? I completely agree with you. You know what? I agree. Let's go.
We're back at the shade. We've left the shade.
Bernard King, if you want to bring him up, his 60 points, it's one of the most efficient scoring performances of all time, let alone on Christmas. I mean, he was
also
from the free throw line, efficient from the field, doing it all basically on jump shots for the most part. I mean, he was so methodical and rhythmic that it's like he was sharp that game. It wasn't like Karl Malone's game where he scored like 60 or 61 and they're all a bunch of layups. It's like, no, Bernard King was like making jumpers all night long and they couldn't stop him. So incredibly efficient, got some boards, got some assists back before like boards were just all over the place. It's like, if there's one thing I'm going to crap on for Wilt Chamberlain, it's like those 36 rebounds aren't going to be 36 rebounds in today's game. He probably had more like, I don't know, half that probably. Yeah. And so,
there were, to add to your point, there was 126 field goal attempts. So, 36
a lot of rebounds to get.
Yeah. Well, here's the other thing. Like, and again, you can turn it into a positive or a negative. Wilt played 58 minutes. He had almost as many minutes as he had points. You know, that's a lot of game. Yeah. You know, for Bernard to get 60 and 41 minutes, like if you're actually watching that game, there's a different level of like the guy's hot if he's able to get more points in nearly 20 minutes less. You know, I mean, that guy's really hot and he's scoring quickly. You know, it's like, what would a Bernard have got if you gave him 17 more minutes, you know, sort of thing. So yeah. I don't know. That's why I went with this game, because I did notice the Wilt game, but, you know, I wasn't going to just be a homer, you know. But now you put me in this weird predicament where I'm like, I got to argue against Wilt.
Yeah, you know, I just
no. You went with Bernard King because it's one of the most iconic games of, you know, all time, right?
It's iconic. I mean, I've watched it. I've seen the footage of it. He's impressive. Like, and it's incredibly efficient for a guy who isn't just, you know, getting the majority of his points in the paint or dunking the basketball. Like, he's a mid-range player who is just smoking hot, you know?
Yeah. Especially like getting rebounds and dunking the basketball on like little white kids too. Like that's But let's continue.
Okay. All right.
How do you pick him and hate on him at the same time?
You just gave me the leeway, so I have to just keep on piling on.
We haven't made our votes yet, right? You still want votes, right?
Bad. You want votes?
Okay,
I got a vote, all right? I got a vote, and if you fucking want it, you're going to stop. You're
going to stop belittling Wilt's competition if you want my vote.
I picked this game by Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. Now, I managed to fucking pick the 1 year that Kareem is not an all-star. I managed to find the one out of a billion seasons that he's an all-star. This is the 1 year he's not an all-star. But I couldn't put him as a Secret Santa. I just couldn't. It felt wrong in every way, shape, or form by what we were trying to go for. It would be the exact opposite of the Greg Ballard. And I felt weird having it there. So I'm having it here. Kareem absolutely filled up the stat sheet. Lakers win 111-96. Kareem, 35 points, 17 rebounds, 9 assists, a steal, and 3 blocks. Shot 71%, carried the Lakers, who were struggling at this point, 14-18 at this point of the year. And I just thought this game was like insane. It's one of those he's everywhere type games. Like the flying around for blocks, all over the place for rebounds.
Like, 9 assists. That's the most crazy part for me. It's like that's not a Kareem Abdul-Jabbar type thing.
No. And I was just extremely impressed. it's the third highest game score in the history of Christmas. Bernard King's being number one. But I got your back. But
keep making my case. Go ahead.
I was just like, I think this game by Kareem, from a statistical standpoint and from a complete dominance on Christmas Day, I was stunned. I was stunned by the near triple double, or almost 5x5. But like, he needed a little bit more on the defensive end. But yeah, that's my pick. That's my pick. Versus Supersonics. R.I.P. Supersonics.
R.I.P. All right, so Russ, you pick first.
I'm picking Bernard King. I think it's one of the greatest performances in all of Christmas. I feel like if it happened on another day, it wouldn't be talked about the same way as it's talked about because it happened on Christmas.
Well, to be fair, Bernard King is barely talked about.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
What he had an ACL or what did he have that screwed up his career? What injury was it?
Yeah, it was some kind of a leg injury. I know that much. It's been a while since I made his video.
I think it was an ACL.
I think it was knees.
That's what I'm saying.
Terrible knees.
Something like that. But he ended up. This was
Did he play through an ACL,
and he had an incredible comeback too. Yeah. I remember he almost like a Dominique type comeback where people weren't expecting him to be good, and he was good for another year, but he didn't last terribly long. But I mean, he was one of the best scorers and stuff. And nowadays, people are even talking about guys like Alex English, and I'm starting to hear some of these underrated guys of the 80s get brought up more. But I still don't hear Bernard King brought up all that much. Like this dude was legit for a little while.
Won a scoring title. To your point, you said, I think of Adrian Dantley, but they're all in that category of smaller guy who posted up, who had a fire post-up game.
Yep.
And that's how they got their buckets for the most part.
Bernard was kind of a beast in transition too, because he was strong and he was known for being an intense competitor too. So yeah, if he was paired with like a great point guard, he would have been even better because just like he was a great trailer and like you didn't want to get in front of Bernard King when he's on his way to the rim. Like he was a big, strong dude.
Yeah. I'm definitely. So I'm going with Bernard.
Yeah. So I really like Lindsay's case on Patrick Ewing. Them going against the '86 Celtics, one of the greatest teams of all time.
Yeah, that's a great point.
And Patrick Ewing, I think I usually don't care about the competition, but he faced the toughest of the toughest competition, and he came out with the dub. So
I mean, that's Kevin McHale and Robert Parrish, two of the greatest big man tandems ever. So I mean, that's pretty legit to do that. And I mean, I don't know if we give him bonus points because he was he a rookie that year?
It was his rookie season, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. That's you could give him bonus points for that too. That's pretty impressive. So
yeah,
and
it's one of the best teams ever when you add that in too. Like you were talking about just the front court, but that particular Celtics team, one of the best ball movement teams, one of the greatest overall teams of all time.
I mean, if you think about Jordan's 63 against Boston, in the playoffs, everybody totally gives him bonus points because it was against Boston.
Yeah.
They do that all the time. So yeah. Same thing with Patrick.
Yeah. He lost. Patrick won.
Yeah.
He won. He did. Keep making my argument, people.
Jordan, why you ain't win?
Yeah.
Why?
It's because his head's too big.
And it's baldy too. Well, he had hair at that time, so I'll go.
He had hair the whole time for the most part. But what do you call it?
I'm going with Patrick. I'm going with Patrick.
You're going Patrick?
I'm going with Patrick. She won me. She won me over. The argument's too good. I'll go with Patrick. Yeah.
Why you didn't want to?
I was gonna go Wilt, but I'm like, that's such a good argument. I'll go with that.
Yes.
Yeah, I don't even mind.
We converting Johnny. We slowly bringing them in.
Yeah, Wilt's overrated. I mean, I've come to that conclusion tonight.
Exactly.
Yeah, Wilt's overrated.
Your hours of content on Wilt. There's just a waste of time. You guys are
I'm going to go delete all those videos now.
Yeah.
I don't want to push that propaganda anymore.
Come on, bro. Fucking hilarious. I was even thinking about, once you were talking about Patrick Ewing, because Lindsay went first. That completely slipped my mind that I should have just said Patrick Ewing, honestly. I thought of Bernard King because of the iconic nature of the game. But the comeback is crazy. Like, the whole context is crazy. And I was going to pick one of this this game for best game. I was really strongly thinking about it, like I said. So
I was shocked you picked Bernard because I was like, it sounded like you already had Patrick Ewing in your mind.
Look, I had my choice between two Knicks, and so it was just a choice between two bowls of shit. The only difference was the smell. You know what I mean? So,
oh my gosh! So did all three of you pick Ewing?
Yeah. So you didn't get your wish. You still get to pick last, but at least everybody picked your guy.
Yeah. At least I won't have to do a tie. I can't vote for him, so I'll go with Bernard King.
I got one.
There you go. There you go.
Why we ain't pick Wilt?
Because you were like, hey, I picked this Wilt game, but he does play against trash competition. Learn not to undercut yourself, bro. Like, God.
It's crazy. I showed mad love to the old heads, but you know,
it's like trying to.
I mean, you did, but you didn't. Like, it's
It was what's called underhanded.
Yeah,
I wasn't trying to at first, but all right.